Hello everyone and welcome to another Krebs Coho Company of Heroes Cast. I hope you're all feeling very well today because we're going to be having a fun episode on this map, the 1v1 map Langres. Alright, a Langres matchup today. And I know in the last episode I said we'd be doing high level replays, and don't get me wrong, we will be doing them, but because I'm in a little bit of a rush today, we'll be doing a fun comical match. The reason being because the player Vietruvian over here is actually Kodachrome. Alright, so if you don't know who Kodachrome is, he is a player that has a comical playstyle in Company of Heroes. Kind of weird to be saying that, but it is possible to have a comical playstyle. So anyway, so what we've got to look at today is Vietruvian down here in the southern corner of Langres as the Americans versing his opponent up north, KeyOfLotusKYJ as the Wehrmacht. I have a feeling Key of Lotus must be I don't know, it must be something. I just didn't take my time to actually go look up what it might be, but Key of Lotus, it sounds familiar. Maybe it's some sort of, you know, media format, like a movie or a book or something. I have absolutely no idea. Maybe you guys can clue me in on that. I know, though, Vietruvian, I think this is actually a misspelling of Vietruvian, but the Vietruvian man is actually that Leonardo da Vinci. I was going to say Leonardo DiCaprio. No, Leonardo da Vinci drawing. You know that sort of drawing where it's a circle and there's a man inside of it who is standing normal, and then superimposed into that position is the same man but with his arms extended and his legs stretched out. That is the Vietruvian man, and it's meant to actually be a drawing of the ideal proportions of men back then, I suppose you could say. So that is the Vietruvian man. I have a feeling that that's actually a misspelling of the Vietruvian man, but anyway, so today we're gonna have fun. Are you having fun? Anyway, guys, we're at the 5-second mark and we're gonna be starting in 3 seconds. So in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, and we go to another very exciting matchup in the Company of Heroes battlefield. Now, I actually got to let you guys know, specifically the Polish people. I know some of the Polish people in the last video were actually requesting me to say something Polish in this match, in this next video. So this video right here. Now, I know this is going to ostracize a lot of you people who aren't obviously Polish, but just for the sake of actually just getting this out of the way, all I have to say to the Polish people is ja będzie wysadzam ci ogórek w dupę. That's all I have to say to you Polish people out there. I know that was perhaps something you maybe didn't expect to come out of my mouth, but then again, hey ho. Hopefully, you people that don't speak Polish will actually find out what that means. Hopefully not. But anyway, let's carry on with the actual show at hand. We've got a Vietruvian man down here actually just capping away at the right-hand side with the munitions and also the munitions up here. Interesting sort of stuff. Why? Because a lot of people, when they're actually playing a Langres, specifically down here in the south, what they tend to do is actually go stretch on over towards the fuel point over here on the left-hand side. Quite important, but at the same time also stretching onto that fuel point on the right hand side. So it's kind of funny that he's specifically aiming for the munitions points. Maybe he's just trying to grab this one and connect it up to that that manpower point over there. And I have a feeling the music, you probably can't hear it at the moment, so what I'm gonna actually do is just slightly pause it at 1 minute 40 seconds here, so I can just quickly change the sound, the master volume. Oh god, I hope it's not going to be wrong or too loud. But anyway, resume, and there we go. 141, 142, 143, 144, 145. There we go. Okay, and hopefully that's going to be at a decent volume. I just have a feeling it's not. I don't know, it's this intuition inside of me, the spidey senses. So we've got the rifleman actually going right on up to the north here. This is typical style of Kodachrome, just being the goddamn unusual person that he is. In fact, what he's doing is just harassing the pioneers. Altogether, he's not even capping with them. He's not even going to be harassing the Volks over here. He went straight for the pioneers and just chasing them away. That is Kodachrome for you. Over with the Wehrmacht, what they have is the pioneers just retreating with Volksgrenadiers coming out. What's happening with the riflemen over here? In fact, what they're doing is actually capping the VP at the very back of the map. I don't know if I can agree with that. This is the thing with Kodachrome. I don't know if I can agree with a lot of the things that he does, but, you know, it works out in the end. He's actually grabbing that VP, which is probably going to be decapped in a moment here. He's got some engineers who are grabbing, or not even grabbing, just moving up along the left-hand side. But the thing that I noticed right from the get-go, right at the beginning, is that he still... Kodachrome still only has a +5 fuel rate. If you look at the minimap in the lower left corner, you can see that the fuel points aren't even grabbed, which is... You know, in any game, any recommendation I would ever make, and any pro that would make, is always to grab the fuel points when you can. I mean, fuel race, right? So it's kind of unusual, but then again, it's what you have to sort of expect from Kodachrome by doing such unusual things, right? Volksgrenadiers actually managed to chase away those Americans over there, and so they have moved down here and are so decapping some points. Just this manpower point, although it doesn't really link onto anything at the moment. Maybe it's just to prevent any future linking of points over here. So riflemen moving along the right hand side, not even bothering to combat the Volksgrenadiers. They are really not bothered at all, are they? So they're actually just going to keep on going along the right hand side and cap, not even bothering to fight. I mean, most people, if they were in this situation, what they'd probably do is actually go around here and just fight these Volksgrenadiers. So I'm not exactly sure if Kodachrome is trying to produce a sort of aggrandizing personality of his own, as in trying to give off a good perceived stance of power in this match. I'm not sure if he's actually trying to come like that, or if his playstyle is actually just, I don't know, strange, if that's what you can say. Now we've got the Volksgrenadiers down here just pummeling away at this medic station over here, damaging it a little bit, but at the same time racing against the engineers who are repairing it at the same time. Riflemen who came in from the back there being chased away because they took massive casualties. Riflemen over here taking casualties with the same ones over there as well. Lots and lots and lots of Volksgrenadiers. In fact, you can see 4 squads right on the field here. 1 engineer squad just going down right there, with also the medic station. The medic's just going to be picking them up, and now this leaves the Volksgrenadiers a perfect opportunity to actually just destroy this medic station. And there you go, you can see it smoldering. How does that make sense? Bullets actually hitting sandbags and the medic station smoldering? I have absolutely no idea. It sort of reminds me of like Age of Empires. You remember Age of Empires when you would like attack a house or a town center with your infantry? You know, they'd be poking away at it, and for whatever reason the house would start going on fire. It's sort of like that, I suppose, these pre-animated, well, animations. Okay, so riflemen approaching back into their territory, chasing off these Volksgrenadiers, who obviously recognized, I mean, they took a bit of casualties and won their squads, but they obviously recognized, hey ho, we're not going to win this battle, so we might as well retreat en masse. And so they just got all their Volksgrenadiers out of there, because they knew they weren't really going to be there much longer. They weren't going to make much of a dent, and in fact, they'd probably lose more men than actually killing more men. Right, so we've got the Volksgrenadiers here. Oh gosh, you can see their groaning mouths and them on their side. The bullet in the gut. Right there. Horrible, horrible sort of wounds. I think one of the actual worst places to get shot in the body. I know this is kind of weird for me to say this, but one of the weirdest places, worst places to get shot in the body is actually in the stomach. The reason being is because your stomach produces its own natural sort of you know, acids in there, hydrochloric acid. And so just imagine, if you will, if a bullet pierced your stomach and you had these acids seeping through and sort of dissolving your guts. You're basically, that's all you can say, the tissue in your body, that is the sort of pain and excruciating sort of thing that comes from it. And let alone the stomach isn't really a sort of organ that heals that great. So then again, you know, it's one of these sort of things that takes long-term treatment, right? Okay, so along the left-hand side, I don't know where that came from. To be honest, over here in the UK, guns are not allowed. It's not like America where everyone has the right to bear arms. Over here, that's not the case. And so, I don't know, you don't really get people shooting each other. Unless it's gang battles, but apart from that, it doesn't really happen. Anyway, so we've got the riflemen approaching on the multiple fronts. If you look at the minimap, I think this is going to be an easier way to look at what's going on. We've got riflemen just capping away on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, just a few men over here. So the instant difference between what we might normally expect in Kodachrome is that what we would expect, for example, is maybe a mass amount of men heading towards one side just to chase off the Wehrmacht entirely. But what we see of Kodachrome is rather he's splitting up his forces, capping away the left-hand side, and also just making a small offensive on the right-hand side. Now that medic station is gone, we've also got another one placed down over here with the medics just about to produce a free rifleman squad. Good stuff. I like it by Kodachrome to be actually producing these sort of things early on in the game so he can get these free rifleman squads. Might be a good time because these Volksgrenadiers are just hitting at this medic station, and there we go, free rifleman squad right there. We've got the Volksgrenadiers over here actually just decapping this. Notice how they're actually equipped with the MP40s as well. 50 munitions, equipping that MP40s on them, making them good at close quarters combat. Interesting stuff. What do you guys think about that? I suppose MP40s are always good if you're going to be engaging your opponent from a close distance. Oh my god, nuclear pineapple blasting away the fence there. From a close distance, I could understand it. But then again, when you look at a map like Langres, for example, countryside, do you think a countryside is a narrow sort of place? Not really. It wouldn't really happen. If it was a map like Stursdorf, or I don't know, any sort of urban map, for example, where there's close quarters, MP40s would really excel in maps like those. But at the same time, MP40s can be good on a countryside map, just because as long as you can sort of engage your opponent from a close range, or say if your MG42 actually suppresses a squad, for example, then you could bring in your MP40s close in and just finish them off, do a fellow swoop, and boom, they're gone. Okay. Alright, so we've got the riflemen again approaching from the backside. They're really Kodachrome is microing his guys like hell here, just coming in from every single direction. Let's see what's going on the bases, if there's actually anything going on. In fact, we've just got a triage sensor coming down, which is going to provide some healing aid for the Americans and the riflemen, their engineers, and just their men in general. Oh god! Landing right on top of mine there, these pioneers, one of them going down, the other one crawling away. He was like, what the heck was that? What the god? Oh gosh, jeez. Yeah, just crawling away from that massive explosion. We've got for the Wehrmacht is skipping on up to the T3 Sturm Armory there with the armored car being produced. The whatever that was, building spontaneously collapsing there, as it typically does. I have absolutely no idea. I think it's actually caused by stray bullet fire, maybe just men going over it. Absolutely no idea how it happens, but just spontaneously collapsing buildings in the French countryside. I suppose that's just what happens. So the armored car is going to be great at taking on these riflemen, and this is definitely a good approach to make, because I mean, I suppose there's different approaches that you can come towards it. Say if the American produces a lot of riflemen, how are you going to take them on? Well, you could produce more infantry, you can make more MP40s, you could get more MGs, but at the same time, I think Pumas is probably one of the best methods of actually taking on the infantry. The reason I say that is because one of the most important things to actually take a note of the Americans is their veterancy, and the best way that they gain veterancy is by killing infantry. I mean, it's the most common way, it's the most efficient way, because it's a lot more difficult for riflemen to actually destroy vehicles, unless they get lucky with a sticky bomb, for example. But, so the most easy way for them to get veterancy is by killing infantry, and obviously if you have vehicles out, it's going to be a lot harder for them to get veterancy, because simply put, there's no infantry there. So by having that Puma out, good to counter these riflemen and prevent them from getting veterancy, because as I learned in, I believe, maybe two videos ago or so, that I had to learn from the hard way, veterancy 3 squads from the Americans, especially when there's 3 or more of them, are just absolutely impossible to take on. They're very hardy units, and the best way to actually take it on is to, well, prevent them from even getting veterancy 3 in the first place. Okay, so we've got that Puma there with the just firing away at these guys, trying to take on this medic station, just preventing any more riflemen from coming out of there. Definitely going to be a useful thing to take a note of. These riflemen just approaching for, I believe, what was meant to be a sticky bomb. Also another Puma being produced, and along the left hand side, as you guys can see, just more capping going away, stray squads. So from what it looks like with Bodhi Dharma, or sorry, Vietruvian over here, is that he's got a rifleman spam, and wow, that there's no point in even counting the squads on the map. You can just look at all of them over here. 6 in fact. Now this might not really be intentional just because he has these medic stations out, so it's not really like, you know, he's purposely building loads and loads of rifleman squads. I mean, I think he probably got like 2 free rifleman squads out of this so far, so there you go. One Puma landing on the mine over there with sticky bomb, just trying to come in from max distance. Oh, come on. Yes, perfect. And the other one here has been stickied, but the rifleman had to retreat. So this Puma is out of control. The other one over here is getting repaired by the Pioneers, who just managed to decap this fuel point. So Vietruvian with a plus 21 fuel rate income at the moment. Key of Lotus, he's got plus 21 as well. He's actually gone for the Blitzkrieg Doctrine, as you guys can see. He's also going down along the left-hand side, because he has the infantry assault team. If he goes on to something else next down the line, he will be able to get the Stu tank, and that will be good at taking on infantry, depending if it can hit or not, of course. And it's also good at taking on buildings, right? Also, if he keeps on going down that way, he'll be able to get a Tiger eventually. So there we go. We've got Vietruvian again being very, very harassing, decapping the vital cutoff point. So let's see these points go from high to nothing here. Look at the resource income where my mouse is. Oh, what are you doing? No, Vietruvian! I think he just prematurely got out of that area. Oh gosh, I think he was just trying to shave off the milliseconds there, and actually retreated a few milliseconds too early before he could actually decap that manpower point. So there you go. Unfortunately, not actually to managing to decap that, because that would have been really useful. It means one of these squads would have to stay back and at least cap it, but oh well. So we've got the rifleman going down over here, 1 squad gone. We've also got rangers just coming out for Mr. Vietruvian. Oh my god, I'm looking outside my window and it's snowing. Oh my gosh, I wish I could show you guys my webcam right now, but there's a blizzard outside. If you guys don't know, I live in Scotland at the moment, and 1 week ago today, literally 1 week ago, if you guys live in the UK, you probably know about this, but if you don't live in the UK, 1 week ago, it was about 23 degrees over here. We had 1 week of just absolute amazing beach weather. I know if you live in California, 23 degrees is like, ha ha ha, that's a cold day in winter for us. But over here, that was amazing. And now a week later, it's actually snowing, and there's literally a blizzard outside of my window. I don't know how to describe it. You know, you've got the daffodils and all these flowers blooming outside, and now you've just got a blizzard. Oh my gosh, it's horrifying. Anyway, we've got loads and loads of Pumas here, loads and loads of them. 3 in fact, so great stuff. I know the Americans are bringing out the Rangers. Oh my god, look at this snow. I know these Rangers are over here and they're using their bazookas on these Pumas, but man, three Pumas are gonna be hard to take on, don't you guys think? Really hard to take on, because look at them, they're just pummeling away at all these guys. And even if all these guys want to get on near the Pumas, they gotta deal with these MP40 Volks who actually have assault grenades. So heading along the right hand side, he's unlocked the assault grenades from the Blitzkrieg Doctrine. Always a good choice. I mean, it's only like what, 1 CP or something like that to actually get, and so you might as well invest in it. I see this strategy be used a few times where, what are these medics doing? They're picking up guys, but there's no medic station, so where are they going? Are they going to the triage center? This would be very strange indeed. I didn't know this. Is this possible? So we're gonna actually just watch this medic over here and see where he goes. Please don't kill him! Please don't kill him! I want to see where he goes. Where is he going? Or maybe there's another medic station? Aha! That's why! There's a medic station over there. Okay, fair enough. If you guys don't know, actually, this is a good point. I've never mentioned this in a previous cast before, but if you didn't know, if you have multiple medic stations out on the field, what the medics will actually do, for example, is they'll use a medic station nearby as a relay point, sort of. So imagine, if you will, if there's 2 medic stations here and some guys die down here. So then the medics over at the faraway medic station may actually pick up those guys and then go over to the medic station that's nearby and act as a sort of relay point. Quite an interesting thing. I know a lot of people don't actually notice those things, but I actually noticed that a while ago. And there you guys go, right? So I've seen this strategy be deployed a few times by the Volks, by Wehrmacht players, where they actually spam assault grenades. Literally, like, they'll hardly spend any munitions on anything else but assault grenades, and every opportunity that they get against the Americans, they'll just fling those grenades like crazy and just suppress them, pin them from actually moving forward, and it works to great effect. So there you guys go. Lots and lots of vehicles out in the field here. You can see them in mass. 4 Pumas and also a Stug over here to prevent any sort of armored vehicles that may come out from Kodachrome over here. So let's actually switch on over to him. And he's actually producing an AT gun at the moment. Interesting stuff. He's also got a howitzer chute just activated. And where's it going to be going down? Right on top of the Pioneers. Right there. And they are flying away. Not even expecting that to be coming down on top of them. And there we go, just protecting his point. Would you say that was worth 150 munitions? Well, it depends. If you say that 150 munitions is worth 120 manpower, well then okay, fair enough. But then again, I suppose on the bright side, at least he prevented his plus 10 munitions from being decapped. There we go, spending it to some use. Howitzer chute right there. I like what the Wehrmacht are doing at the moment by just separating all the vehicles just to prevent any sort of artillery fire from, you know, damaging every single vehicle there. AT gun just coming out from Vietruvian, and that is what we need at the moment to take on all these vehicles, because men alone aren't gonna do the job. Good start, but not gonna be doing the job. Gotta be a little bit careful here because AT gun versus Pumas. Pumas are obviously quite evasive units, and so it might be a bit difficult for them to take on. We've got a Nebelwerfer just coming out from the Wehrmacht here, and I'm still so interested in the snow outside because, wow, this was so unexpected. And the Nebelwerfer right there at the back. Come on, let's see it fire on something. But we'll have to see what happens there. Alright, we've got the anti-tank gun just destroying that wreck, maybe just trying to prevent the Wehrmacht from gaining any sort of munitions. I suppose that's all that they maybe were trying to do, but it looks like it's come to quite a stalemate, would you say? We're at 19 minutes and 30 seconds in the game, and it's literally cut right down the center line of the map. Half-half. However, I would say that the Wehrmacht definitely have a lead with all these vehicles out in the field. Look at what the Americans have. Well, next to none. That's just about it. So, you know, this is what I don't really like about some people's play, when they become too complacent, alright? I mean, if you look over here, there's an amalgamation of units, alright? An amalgamation, okay? Different entities of units coming together to make this sort of army. It's an amalgamation of units. So you got the MP40s, you've got the Pumas, you've got the Stugs, and so there you go. That's all he needs to actually move on in, and this is why I don't understand, why doesn't he move all these units in one big swoop? Because he's got so many Pumas. Literally, these infantry and AT guns could not do anything to actually take them on. They could run over the barbed wire, they could just destroy everything. Maybe they crash on a mine, doesn't really matter. Because they could just take them out if they wanted to. Then again, look at all these mines. Wow. 2 mines over here. We've got that one mine that the MP40 Volks crashed on. There's a mine over here. So Vietruvian is really loving these mines at the moment. I want to see if there's any others across the map. I don't see any at the moment. No, not at the moment. Fair enough. There you go. So maybe what would be a good idea is maybe Vietruvian brought his Stug and maybe like 2 Pumas or something into the enemy's base just to kill any retreating men, and maybe just the AT guns and such like that. And that would be such a bad time for Vietruvian to even defend his base, because then he would have to force retreat his AT guns and his men, whilst maybe some other Pumas could come in from the side and just, you know, take out these reinforcing units, right? Okay, so we've got the Nebelwerfer finally coming down here, just taking some shots, burning this AT gun to death, and look at that great usage of the AT gun, pummeling a hole right into the hedges right there. So good stuff to be seen. That, look at that, wow, I never knew AT guns were so effective at taking on hedges, but a single shot from them just destroying them. Great stuff. I'm going to keep that in mind in my future games. AT guns, perfect way to destroy hedges, a lot faster than rockets in my opinion, and flames. So there you go, right? Okay, come on, Ranger, just getting out of there very swiftly, carefully. I suppose you could say. And all these men are moving in towards the center. So I'd like to see how Bodhi is going to approach this. He's actually approaching this with AT guns, and that's simply what he's doing. He managed to take out one of them. This Stug is actually just crushing them, and the AT gun down here has been actually taken out by the Pumas. So that's a good start for Keys of Lotus to make a comeback here. He needs to come around these units and just destroy them with his Pumas. But if he's going to be approaching them from head on like this, not a good idea, not a good idea whatsoever. So I think what his mistake is at the moment is that he's not just moving in, simple as that. He's defending with his vehicles against AT guns. That's not the way to approach it. What he's actually doing, though, on the other hand, is using his Nebelwerfer to kill all of these AT guns, burning all of them to death. The two over here, that's definitely a great start. I'd like to maybe see the Stug, or if it was still alive anyway, to come in and just destroy these AT guns just to prevent them from being recaptured. But there we go, right? Puma going down, and also Rifleman Squad going down. So it's really all eye for eye over here. We've got an off-map combat group just coming out on the field. Look at all these men, 4 of them coming out from them, because that's what you get for an off-map combat group. You get 4 random units, so 2 MGs, riflemen, and a very needed M10 right over here. So I suppose Vietruvian was a bit low on his manpower. He was saving it for his off-map combat group, and he was rewarded with an M10. Great stuff. Obviously, it could be a little bit better if there's 2 M10s. That is probably, in my opinion, the best luck you could get out of an off-map combat group, getting 2 M10s or something like that. Definitely the best thing that you could get, but you know, 1 M10 still a good start. I like seeing that sort of stuff. And so he's going to be chasing down the Puma over here. We've got Panzerfaust just going out on top of this M10 just to maybe scare it away, damage it a little bit, but not really going to be doing anything much. Bodhidharma actually just chasing the Wehrmacht right on into his base, and all of the men here are moving on in, destroying the wrecks, forcing the Wehrmacht back here, because they have just moved in one big swoop, and that's what Vietruvian needed. So if the Wehrmacht weren't going to do it, hell, the allies were going to do it. Here we go. We've got a howitzer shoot just going down on top of all the guys here. Oh no, Puma right smack dab in the middle, just getting out of there. Wow, with a slither of health. A slither of health. My gosh. I was surprised he even managed to survive that, considering the howitzer shot was right on top of him. You know, the weakest part of a tank, and I know a lot of people might be already saying, weakest part of a tank, well, hey, that's got to be the backside or the side armor. Well, yeah, to some respect, the normal side. In normal cases, that's the actual truth, the side and the back. But actually, the weakest point is actually the top of the tank. So if you've never noticed, but sometimes if a howitzer shoot lands directly on the top of a tank, it does massive, I don't know how to stress it, massive damage. But for some reason, maybe he didn't land on top of that Puma directly, because, you know, that's quite surprising. I was surprised that the Puma wasn't destroyed in one shot, because I've seen howitzer shoots do massive damage to such tanks like Panthers, for example, when landing on top there. Okay, so we've got the Wehrmacht coming out with something here. I was waiting to say I thought that might be manpower blitz, because they got a whole bunch of units here pretty much out of nowhere, but that doesn't look like the case. It looks like he's actually saving for a Tiger, because he's still going down along the left hand side, and he's got quite a few CP saved up at the moment. So he's got these stews out, and I'm not really sure what to expect. Where's the anti-tank, you know? There's not any other M10s out on the field, but then again, you gotta be a little bit cautious, because if another M10 comes out, how is he gonna take them on? Stu can maybe take it on, but it's not really a direct role for a Stu to take on a tank, right? Okay, so heavy machine gun team rolling out just by himself. Fair enough, just a very bold man, boldly going where no man has gone before. That is this man over here. I don't know why I'm saying that statement. I know that's from Star Trek, and World War II was quite a few years before Star Trek came out, but fair enough. We've just got the Wehrmacht that came back here and made quite a comeback, didn't they? I mean, the Americans really just came in here with all their men, their guns blazing, and pushed back the Wehrmacht right to their base. But now the Wehrmacht have managed to make a comeback onto the field, and there we go. We've got the armored assault force, the Tiger tank, available for production, but whether it's going to be produced, that is a whole nother question. Now we've got an M10 coming out and also an M8, so this was most likely going to be another off-map combat group for Vietruvian over here. And there we go, look at that. Still trying to take on this M10, but then again, how effective is it going to be? No idea. And this is what I mean about the Stu being able to take on tanks. Even though it didn't do a massive amount of damage, still, even though it landed a shot on, it's still done a little bit of damage, didn't it? Oh gosh, immobilized, bad situation to be in. The Stu is not going to be able to take this on. And that Stug went down, now the Stu is going down, the Pumas are just staying there, they're not moving, then that's it. That is the playback over. Even though the Americans were losing in terms of victory points, even though it wasn't that much, that was the final straw for Key of Lotus. I guess he just lost all of his vehicles there and he had no way of making a comeback. He had, what in terms of infantry, just a single Volksgrenadier squad. The only thing I could say, and also a Pioneer squad, the only thing that I could say about Mr. Key of Lotus is that he needed to not be as complacent. I mean, that's the last thing that you need to be, is complacent, just waiting around in a single area and just waiting for your opponent to make the move. Because if you have all these men saved up, you might as well, all these vehicles for example saved up, then you might as well just move in while you can and make the damage that on your opponent that you have available to you, right? But anyway, well done to Bodhidharma for actually winning that game. I know I keep on switching around these names. Bodhidharma, Vietruvian, Kodachrome, same people, right? So well done to him for winning the match. He definitely played a bit unusual there, especially with his rifleman just decapping like everything and moving right on towards the backside of the Wehrmacht, and the off-map combat group being the savior of the day. So well done. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and of course until next time, I'm gonna go enjoy the snow that's coming down right now, but until next time, see you all later. Bye bye.